With Singapore's COVID-19 cases set to hit 1 million, experts tell ST's Salma Khalid how they think the pandemic will end. Streamlined safe management measures kick in today, but some choose to remain cautious. And watch out for fake deals promising high returns, many involving cryptocurrency. Hello, you're watching The Big Story. I'm Olivia Quay. You can subscribe to the Straits Times channel so you don't miss a single episode. Today marks another new chapter in Singapore's pandemic response because as of today, safe distancing is no longer required in mask-on settings. But the pictures tell another story, at least in some places. At supermarket chain FairPrice, the all-too-familiar markings on the floor to space out the checkout lines have not been removed. In fact, FairPrice says it's sticking to the safe distancing measures even though it's not required to do so. And over at shopping malls in Bishan and Katong, safe distancing markings set 1 meter apart could still be seen at common spaces. No one in the malls is in any hurry, it seems, to implement the changes immediately. But at East Coast Park, bright orange barriers around the pavilions were removed first thing this morning. As part of the streamlining of the rules, public seating areas will no longer be blocked off. And from Friday, camping sites and barbecue pits managed by the National Parks Board will be reopened, but gatherings should be kept to a maximum of 5 persons. Well, Singapore's COVID-19 task force has said this streamlining of rules will pave the way for further easing. The weekly infection growth rate is on an optimistic trend as well. It was 0.84 yesterday, the lowest since January the 1st and the 13th straight day that it's below 1. Plus, daily cases are continuing to fall below 10,000. Just over 9,000 were reported yesterday. With that, Singapore has recorded 948,478 confirmed cases. That being said, though, factoring in ART positive infections that people don't report to the Health Ministry, Singapore's case total is likely much higher. In a panel discussion, infectious diseases experts talk about our reopening strategy with COVID-19 so widespread here.
I think we are going to hit our 1 millionth infection rate, but that number probably, like Minister Gan Kim Yong has said, is probably way below the reality, which he says could be as much as 2 or 3 times the number, which therefore means that half the population has been infected.
So I think there's 2 questions at play. What is the strategy? Do we all agree on what the end point is? And I'm not sure we've had that conversation. Is there an intention to wear masks indefinitely? I don't believe so, because I think in outbreaks things tend to eventually go back to normal, maybe with some behavioural changes. But so once we've agreed on what the end point is, then it's the steps to get there. I'm sure we're all against Freedom Day, throw off the masks and open all the nightclubs, and pretend it doesn't exist. I don't think anyone wants that, but there are things we can peel back now. I don't think anyone's ready for mask-free, huge gatherings. I don't think that's probably the last thing that should be removed. But there are things you can peel back gradually, and I think we're getting ready because the numbers and the hospitalisations are falling.
I still believe that the virus is mutating and at a very high speed, because there are still so many cases out there, not only in Singapore but many other parts of the world. And we allowed this opportunity for the virus to mutate. And we do not know, and nobody can predict what is the next that's going to come from COVID-19 or from SARS-CoV-2. So I think it's still very important for us. Yes, we all want to return to normal with some behavioral change. I think that is something very important for us to now think ahead as to what this COVID will make me change in my behavior to make myself safer, as well as my family and the whole community. But at the same time, while we are thinking of rolling back or peeling off some of the measures, also be prepared that we are still at a very dynamic state. We may need to step up at some point, depending on what is going to come in the future.
We shouldn't hold back from peeling back, but we should peel back and communicate this very clearly to the people that we are able to ease the measures now, certain measures, not all, but to bear in mind that when there is a need, we may have to bring back the measures. But we shouldn't be in a limbo state to say that we will not ease any of our measures because there's this uncertainty that's still out there. And I think this bit about communicating it very clearly to the public, what are the measures that we're able to relax now? What are the measures we are not able to relax yet? And what are the measures that, despite relaxing now, there's a real chance that we may have to bring back when we see a next wave because of a new variant and so on. And I think that communication is just as important in deciding whether to ease or not to ease.
There's more to watch of this hour-long expert panel. You can tune into the Straits Times' YouTube channel tonight at 8 p.m. These experts further discuss Singapore's long-term reopening strategy, the strain on the healthcare system, and even the new Deltacron variant. Looking overseas, nearly 30 million people are under lockdown across China as COVID-19 infections continue to surge. 5,280 new cases were reported today, more than double the previous day's tally. The surge has prompted the return of mass testing and health officials in hazmat suits on city streets, on a scale not seen since the start of the pandemic. Meanwhile, China's efforts to curb the outbreak have forced companies from Apple supplier Foxconn to automakers Toyota and Volkswagen to suspend some operations, raising concerns over supply chain disruptions. Residential buildings in Ukraine's capital continue to be hit by airstrikes, despite Russia saying it doesn't target civilians. New video footage showing badly damaged apartment blocks and debris lying everywhere. At least 2 people were killed in one of the attacks. Residents who remain in Kiev are bracing for a major ground invasion as Russian forces surround the city. On the diplomatic front, U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan and China's top diplomat Yang Jiechi met for 7 hours on Monday, with Washington describing the session as intense. The U.S. says it raised concerns over China's support for Russia, while Beijing's official statement only makes a single brief mention of Ukraine. If you're promised quick money and large payouts with little or no risk, it's very likely to be an investment scam. Fraudsters stole around $190 million from more than 2,400 investors in Singapore last year. The biggest loss was $6 million by one investor, while several others suffered losses ranging from $1 to $2 million. And many of these investment scams involve cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. Let's get some tips from Invest editor Tan Wee-Boon on how to avoid investment scams. Very important lately, Wee-Boon. So first up, just so that we're all in the know, what are some of the tricks that fraudsters use to tempt victims to start investing in crypto?
You know something, Ollie? People usually will not be drawn to put in money if they are told the truth. And that is all investment carries some risk, and you have to be patient because you sometimes need up to a few years before you can enjoy the profits. Nobody wants to hear such things. So the crooks will tell you things that you want to hear, and that is, you will definitely make lots of money with us. Not only that, you will be rich in no time at all. But guess what? If you see somebody telling you this, stay far, far away. Frankly, no genuine company will ever tell you this because they will risk being sued if they cannot deliver what they promise. Only scammers are not afraid because in the first place, they plan to disappear the moment you hand over your money to them. So be very careful when people start to throw in big numbers and projections, guaranteed profits of up to 10, 20, 30, or even 50% every month. Now, just think for a moment. If somebody knows how to do this, why do they need to work and help you? They can just grow their own money and become rich themselves, right? Why work hard to get your money? The only reason they do that is because your money will become their profit.
Fantastic points there, Wibun. Aside from that, what else should investors ask themselves before going ahead with investments that they may know very little about, especially considering the rise of Bitcoin?
There are two very good reasons why the Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS, discourages people in the street from dabbling in cryptocurrency. Such investment can have wild price swings that can cause you to have sleepless nights. This is why many financial advisors actually tell their clients to avoid these products unless they're prepared to face the risk of losing most, if not all, their money. The other reason to stay clear of crypto is less obvious, and that because it requires your tech skills. You must know how to pick a reputable trading platform and the best e-wallet to store your investment. Both these requirements really need you to do your own research. If you pick the wrong company, your chances of losing your money in an online theft is actually quite real. Companies that do not have adequate protection can be attacked by hackers, and when that happens, all your money there will be gone. This won't happen when you buy stocks and shares because those products are registered in your name. So if you're the type who don't like to do any research for your investment, I would say stay away from crypto.
Well, thanks so much, Wibun. That was Invest Editor Tan Wibun. Find out more about crypto investment scams and what to look out for. Wibun has some useful tips on how to avoid falling victim to fake deals that offer high profits. A quick look at the local headlines before I go. Mr. Mila Chinthana, who was attacked by a sword-wielding man in Buangkok yesterday, says the incident left him with 3 injuries, including a cut on his left shoulder. Initial investigations found that the man had consumed unknown pills before he left his home with the sword. He will be charged tomorrow for voluntarily causing hurt by dangerous weapons or means. Prices of resale condominium units edged up for the 19th straight month last month by 0.6%. And compared with February 2021, prices rose by 8.6%. Meanwhile, resale volume dipped by 9.5%, marking the 6th straight month of decline. Analysts say this could be due to slower market activity over the Chinese New Year period, as well as geopolitical uncertainties arising from the conflict in Ukraine. Well, those are our top stories today. Visit straitstimes.com for more news and our YouTube channel for more videos. Subscribe by hitting the red button below. I'm Olivia Quay. Thanks so much for watching The Big Story and see you tomorrow.